Hello, welcome back to PokéBoys Leg 2. I believe we're in one of those fun seasons where the episode number does not match the leg number. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, we're back here, Leg 2, back with the gym leader lock or the gym here in HeartGold and Soul Silver. Joined as always by my lovely friends and fellow Pokemon enthusiasts, Dad and Kumino. Kumino, how you doing tonight? You look a little disheveled. Dad, how are you doing? Hopefully better than
Better
Kumino.
than kimono. Yep. Doing good.
Yeah. So do you want to tell everyone what you told me before we started recording about leg 1 for you?
So, as you remember, I didn't do 2 gyms. Actually, I didn't do any gym. I did the Bellsprout Tower and cut it off. I was done. I'm like,
This
yep,
guy.
I'm good. Done.
This guy acts like it's his first season on
I know.
PokéBoys.
It's like I don't even know what I'm doing. And it's kind of true. I don't.
You made so much progression throughout these seasons to only revert back.
Yeah.
You know,
He didn't just take like one step back. He like fell down the mountain. Like
I fell down the tower is what I did. Yeah. Face
The
first.
shaking bell sprout did him in. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I just
Hips
lost
don't
my
lie,
balance.
you know.
It messed me up,
Yep. But how many gyms did you complete before tonight?
Before tonight,
Like before we started recording. Like, are you caught up?
all
4
four.
gyms? Okay. All right.
I would like, if it's okay with you guys, to kind of give like some key points from that.
Some
section.
updates since you didn't actually play
Some
like
minor updates.
Yeah, let's hear 'em.
All right. So as you guys recall, I had Big Back and Rocky, my Magnemite and Onyx. I also had an egg.
That's right.
And then I put in my notes, cave, because cave.
Yeah.
And then our rival, who I affectionately called Douche, talked to me. He didn't believe that I beat a Team Rocket Grunt, so we fight. And then after this was when my egg hatched into a Togepi.
Yep. Yeah. So last time I said that I just threw my egg in the PC, but during this leg I was checking my PC and it did in fact hatch. So I too had a Togepi, but
I named, well, I did my naming system, as we do every season, my naming system is allowing my children to come up with names. So my Togepi is named Willy Wonka. That has extra sensory.
Okay.
Which is pretty amazing. And then I also caught a Mareep that was named Lemonhead. So
it makes sense,
I guess. So I got a phone call in the game from Wade to meet him at Route 31.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys went through this or talked about it or whatever. I go there. Can't find him. Go through another cave. Come back out. Can't find the dude. I call him again. He's like, oh, why don't we just meet in person? You're close. I'm like, dude, I'm looking for you. Where are you? So then I leave because I'm done. I'm over it. He calls me with some random information that I don't care about. I'm like, dude, what are you yapping about? Like, we were supposed to meet and you totally stood me up. Anyway, let's see. So Wade, stupid. I went north, found the lost lady in the woods. The sweet Lemonhead showed her how to get out of the woods by just standing there. Very helpful. She ends up leaving.
Oh yeah, the kimono girl.
Yeah.
Helix Forest. Okay.
And then I met the daycare people.
Yep.
the
We're
grandma,
getting
grandpa.
in. We're getting into
Yeah,
leg
right,
two
right,
now.
right, right,
Okay,
right, right.
okay, I'm
Going
sorry.
into leg
Yeah.
two,
Okay.
so
So
Yeah. So let's go around like we normally do and
Yep.
refresh everyone from our team after leg one. I had Pacific, my Magby, level 16. Cheryl, my Butterfree at level 14, and Fury, my Spinnerack at level 15. Kumino, what's your team looking like after leg one?
I'm gonna try to power through this. I had Kaido, the Magikarp, level 18. Marvin, my starter, the Magnemite, at level 19. Moon, the Hoot Hoot, at level 18. Felicia, the Sandshrew, at level 18. And Patricia, the Pidgeotto, I'm sorry, at level 19.
Patricia gets me every time. And Dad, you already said what was your team after leg one, after your second gym badge?
Well,
do you recall?
My what's their name? I don't know. Willy Wonka. My Togepi was level 1. Big Back was level 17. Rocky was level 18.
Oh, nice. So yeah, speaking of Togepi,
so when did you get Lemonhead?
Lemonhead. This was after I fought our rival.
Okay.
I didn't really take good notes because I was like trying to power through this today.
Oh no.
I don't know where to like.
I feel like Mareep would have been probably before you get into the cave before Azalea Town.
Yes.
I don't remember the route, but
before
where
you
the
go into
dock
Union
is.
Cave.
Yeah.
Is that where we get the heart scale? Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it was before that.
Speaking of Togepi, I was in my box because needed somebody who could learn cut to get through the Ilex Forest, and Jared, of course, made HMs compatible across the board,
which was great.
Yeah, so I recruited Togepi to just be my HM slave, and yeah, so Togepi is kind of like a ride along this leg. But after we beat Bugsy and Azalea Town, we got to go through Ilex Forest, and before we do that, our rival rudely tries to interrupt. And if you remember from last episode, I tried to sneak into Ilex Forest before taking on Bugsy so I could try to see if I could get Headbutt. And Kumad just kind of like stomped me several times because I was under leveled, and he has a Quilava, and I have a lot of I have Butterfree and Spinnerack, which not very suitable to fight against fire types. But after beating Bugsy, I was able to beat Kumad on the first try. And I was able to slap a poison powder down on the Quilava and then kind of outlast it with some super potions. But how was your battle with your rival, Kumino?
Well, honestly, it was I'm not gonna say it was simple and easy peasy. It wasn't. We both come into each other with Mon that we did not have in our first encounter. So he had the Ghastly, and I had Sandshrew that led. With the Ghastly, he kept setting up double team.
Oh my gosh.
Double team is the worst.
It really is.
And it just made that so horrible. It took like 6 or 7 attempts at Rock Tomb to actually beat the Ghastly. And the Quilava almost took out Felicia the Sandshrew with that overheat, because I forgot that you said that it had overheat.
Dude, Jared didn't mess around giving the trainers some like crazy move sets.
Right. But ultimately, we came out on top. No losses or none of that there.
Nice.
It was a good fight.
Do you handle douche accordingly?
Yeah. I mean, he took out my Quilava took out Big Back, my Magnemite. That was pretty sad. But I did eventually beat him. I don't remember who I beat him with. Probably Rocky or... Well, it would have been Rocky because I only had...
Right, him and
Onyx.
Togepi, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun fact, Gen 2 was the introduction of Steel type, and Magnemite got Steel type added along with Electric, so yeah, Quilava is going to do some damage to Big Back.
He sure did.
Also had a Dark type, by the way. So, moving on, we head into the Ilex Forest, and of course, we have some irresponsible employee
Woodcutter's assistant, right?
Yeah, just losing track of his boss's Farfetch'd, and we have to go track him down, wrangle him, get him back to him before he gets in trouble. So we have the little Farfetch'd mini game, which in the remakes they added like the branch sound thing, but like in the original you just kind of like went up to it and pushed A and it ran, and then you went up, pushed A again, and like to talk to it, and eventually it would go back. But when we return the Farfetch'd, we get cut, which is nice. And do we get cut or do we get charcoal?
We
get cut.
Cut.
Yeah.
In the original, we get charcoal. If we go back, you have to go back.
That's right.
Matter of fact, actually, I didn't even. Well, I went back, but I didn't go back to his house. So I don't know. Maybe you still get charcoal.
Yeah, but we get cut, and this allows us to progress through the forest, of course. And after we cut the small tree, there's a little shrine to Celebi right there in the forest. Our sweet little time traveling onion. But yeah, if you go explore the forest, you'll come across a guy that will teach you
give himself a headache.
That's right. And just slamming his head into trees. But of course, this is what I was looking for, because you can headbutt the big trees and Pokemon will fall out. So of course, I had headbutt taught to I want to say Pacific, and I started just ramming my head into trees trying to get my hair across, and I found a very specific tree that has a very like high spawn rate of Heracross, because I wasn't encountering any of I was several attempts headbutting trees all over Azalea Town and Ilex Forest, and I was having no luck. So I looked it up, and if you headbutt the second tree from the right at the bottom of Azalea Town, like by where the gym is, and I was like, that sounds oddly specific, and this post is from like 8 years ago. There's no way this is gonna work. First attempt, Heracross falls out, and I was like, okay,
nice.
And then I was just continuing to headbutt trees because I was just grinding some experience, and I tried several other trees, did not get any Heracross. Went back to that one tree, 2 from the right, and it was like almost every other or every third Pokemon was a Heracross, and I was like, okay.
Nice.
So if anyone's wondering why they can't get a Heracross in Azalea Town, just try that second tree from the right at the bottom of the town. But yeah, with that said, I did catch a Heracross. I named it Clevin after Austin Butler's character Gale Buck Clevin from Masters of the Air, because Heracross is a boss, just like Buck was. So yeah, that was what I did in the forest before hitting whatever route it is between the forest and Goldenrod. What'd you do, Kumino? Anything?
So after I convinced the guy to stop giving himself a headache, I told him that, life is worth living.
Concussions are serious business, man.
Right. In which I forgot to mention this because on the Zubat, I brought out Kaido to get that last little bit of a push. So after the battle, it evolved into a Gyarados.
Oh,
and
nice.
That's who I taught Headbutt to.
Nice.
And I immediately shot back to Route 33 and spent 45 minutes trying to get a Heracross to come out of one of the trees. Finally got it, did a little training montage, brought it up to the rest of the team. And that was it before heading to Route 34.
Nice. So like Dad was saying, when we come out of the forest, well, before we leave the forest, we run into a lost kimono girl. She's just like, "Oh no, I'm lost."
Lost kimono girl. I mean, Charlie had his angels. I guess I can have my girls.
You can have your old ladies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable. But yeah, we help her out. Actually, it's whatever Pokemon we have out following us will lead the kimono girl to the exit, which is like, how did you know where the exit was? Have you been to this forest before? Like, you've been with me, like, from the lab. How did you know this? But yeah,
I just imagine that Felicia had just looked over to the left and was like, "It's literally right there." Like,
yeah, just look, woman.
Yeah, she's too busy dancing to look, apparently.
Right, she was drunk.
Oh, I forgot to mention this because the Poke Gear was kind of introduced here, the phone call thing.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, Dad, you'll register trainers' phone numbers and they'll just randomly call you. Sometimes it's just absolute nonsense. Sometimes it's like, hey, there's a bunch of Goldines chilling at Route 34. You should come catch one. I got a phone call from my buddy Ralph, and he's just like, "Hey, Mike, I've been having so much fun with this Goldine. So much more fun than I have with my kids." And I'm like,
got that call too.
I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of messed up. Anyways, see you later. I'm like, yeah, that is kind of messed up, dude.
A little bit.
Right. Parent of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so sometimes the phone calls are pretty funny. So read through them every once in a while. But as we exit the forest, we're just short of Goldenrod City. We bump into Lyra, and we find out that her grandma and grandpa run the daycare here. And like we mentioned before, Pokemon breeding was introduced in Gen 2, and this was where the magic happened. You just plop 2 Pokemon in the daycare, then you just walk by and you see the old man standing out there, and he's like, "Oh hey, I found this egg. Why don't you take it?" So yeah, so that's available now.
Wait. Did you pay attention to
what is a Psyduck
Pokemon she had? She had a Psyduck for you.
Yeah.
Dad, what did she have for you? You did not pay attention.
I did not.
He
was
trying to power through. He was
I trying to get this. I had 4 gyms to complete, bro. So I couldn't really pay. I did some side things when I could.
Yeah.
I left a Pokemon there to level up.
Nice.
It was my Lemonhead, my Mareep.
Nice. What does she have again in yours, Kumino?
Beedrill,
that's right.
Yeah, I was hoping it didn't want to hug me again.
Still recovering from last time.
Yes.
Before heading into Goldenrod, I ran into a Ditto there right outside of the daycare. And not even realizing that Ditto is actually a Pokemon I can catch. One of my gym leaders. Let me check who has it. Whitney, actually, in the manga or anime, has a Ditto. But I caught it just for breeding purposes in case I get like real, like on the spectrum this run, and like want to try to breed good Pokemon of my available Pokemon. But honestly, I don't know if I will. But yeah, I caught it, and then later on, when I was looking at my list, I was like, "Oh, I can actually catch a Ditto. Sweet." But yeah, did you guys have any encounters either in the forest or here before Goldenrod City that were on your lists?
So I had nothing that was on my list per se, but like you said, this route it has the Ditto, as well as this is the place where you get Drowsy, so you can make the trade for the Machop in Goldenrod.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so
It's
I
Machop.
did.
Oh, and you can get Machamp.
Yeah, so I went ahead and I caught me a Drowsy to go ahead and take it into Goldenrod City.
Nice.
Machop up.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Dad, you were saying you didn't have very many encounters. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So just north, we have Goldenrod City, like the big city of Johto here. Before really doing anything in Goldenrod, I immediately just went north to the national park. I don't know why I said pork. National pork. Yeah, I just ran straight north to the park, and because basically all my encounters are in the park in the bug catching contest. And it just so happened to be a Tuesday, which the bug catching contest only runs on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So ran up there and I was like, I'm going to catch a Scyther. I'm going to catch a Pinsir. I guess I could catch a Weedle or Beedrill. Those Pokemon are available, but I really wanted a Scyther and I really wanted a Pinsir. So I go in and freaking get absolutely annihilated because all the Pokemon are in the like high 20s, low 30s, and I'm like at level 16 or like 18. And yeah, I just got really sad. So I was like, oh, all my basically all the Pokemon I'm gonna be able to catch are gonna be right in this leg, and I'm gonna have my team set for the last half of the game. Nope. On the way though, you go in and you talk to one of the guards in like those like little pass-through buildings, and he gives you a Spearow with a letter to give to his friend back right outside of Violet City. And so I grabbed that, and I'll just tell you now, I went to deposit it in the PC because I wasn't going to take it at this point. And before I put it in the PC, I had to take the mail off. So I took the mail off. And then later in the leg, when I went to go deliver it to the guy, I couldn't find the mail. So I can't. And he didn't want the dumb Spearow without the mail. So I couldn't even return it to him and I think you get like Dream Eater from him, if I remember correctly. But yeah. Did you guys do anything? How was your time in Goldenrod, Dad?
It was good. I met Mr. Game.
Oh, okay.
Played the Minesweeper type.
Oh yes, Volt Orb Flip, very addicting.
Which was fun. I had to leave because I knew that it was gonna like take up all my time if I was gonna stay there.
Oh yeah,
and I still had a lot more to do, and I didn't know how long it would take me to complete it. So I played like two or three rounds of it, and I left. He's like, "Are you sure you want to leave? You're just getting started." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I need to get out of here."
Yeah, Kumino's got having some like PTSD right now.
Listen, so me getting the Goldenrod, I was more focused on getting the Machop. I went ahead into the department store because I knew I wanted to get some shopping, as well as I couldn't remember where you got the Machop. But it's in the department store. I want to say it's the 5th floor. You talk to the guy there. Picked up a couple choice items. I got a TM.
Nice.
I can't remember what TM it was because I like being that I had to do most of this at work. What I did was I recorded my playthrough.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to write it down when I had the opportunity, but I never had the opportunity to actually sit down and write it. So I don't remember what TM I got. But then, like we were just talking about, the game corner. And so they know I started out that morning with the Vortor flip game. And by that night, I ended up with 22,850 coins to be able to get Thunderbolt and Flamethrower, as well as I had a little bit extra, and I got me an Abra.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Also got hair across a haircut. You know, I know it doesn't have any, but you know, I figured why not?
It's an option.
Gotta look spiffy.
Yeah.
Very dangerous basement or under part.
A lot of shady people down there. But that was a very important little underground hallway. Because they introduced 2 new evolutions in Gen 2, being Espeon and Umbreon. And they evolve based on happiness, and haircuts make your Pokemon happy. So there was a lot of time spent going down there. There's 2 brothers, I think, and one of them, they are in there at different times. And one of them gives way more happiness than the other one.
You got the older brother gives the more happiness, the younger brother gives less. And like I want to say the older brother costs 500 and the younger brother costs 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and they as you've noticed, players, or if you remember, they introduce a lot of real time like mechanics, like with the bug catching contest on certain days with the haircut brothers down here. So like this game, I forget when we said it came out, but it like blew my 12 or 13-year-old mind. I was like, what? The game knows what day and time it is that I'm playing it. I have to wait 2 days to go back to the bug catching contest. That kind of sucks, but it's also kind of cool. But yeah, so it was really, really, really neat as a child. It was just such a big jump from Gen 1 to Gen 2. Yeah.
So I got Lemonhead back.
Okay.
Leveled up like 6 levels, which was kind of cool.
Oh wow.
Willy Wonka evolved into Togetic.
Oh, nice.
Togetic is pretty sick. I didn't mean to rhyme. It happened. So yeah, I didn't really do a whole lot here. Like I had to go to the underground part because I needed to heal because I went to Whitney like right away. I like fought 3 of her trainers that were in there. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. So I went back and did all that and got some heals.
Nice.
Got a freaking bike.
We do get bikes here, yes, right.
Which was amazing. I was flying through everything. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at least you don't have to wait for a voucher this time.
That's true.
Like, dude, it's just like, hey, I moved to a bad location and forgot to advertise around town.
I need you to advertise for me. Yeah.
Yeah, could you take this bike and ride it around and advertise for me? Yeah, sure, man, no problem.
This helped a lot for me. I was able to go very fast.
With emulating and speeding up the like fast forward thing, I can't remember the last time I like rode a bike in a Pokemon game. I mean, obviously it was Sword and Shield because we couldn't speed those up. But yeah, like I'm just usually just running around with the fast forward on. Do you still use the bike, Kumino?
I used the bike a little bit to go around town, to live up to what he asked me to do. But other than that, no, because like you said, with the speed up, there's no real need for it.
What is the speed up button?
Depends on what you're playing on and what emulator.
Okay.
Right. Matter of fact, it might not even be a button. It might just be something in the settings that you got to turn up with like a bar or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Alright.
If you're playing through RetroArch on a Steam Deck, I think like the button layouts are pretty much like across the board. If you hit like the select button and the right bumper, it'll trigger it on, or no, that's a save state. If you hit select and the right trigger, that'll turn the fast forward on. But yeah, I think pretty much every emulator has one. You just got to find it somewhere.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
But yeah, I also, on the way to the national park, I did catch a Nidoran female on Route 35 and added her to the squad. Named her Anna after the strong female character in the game Valiant Hearts, which was a really cool World War I game I played last year on Switch. Shout out. But yeah, also one of the trainers on Route 35 had... That is definitely a typo. Because it says Mar, which is not a Pokemon. It was a Magmar. You're right. That's what happens when I try to take notes on a tablet. But yeah, one of the trainers here had a Magmar and it knew Hyper Beam. It just like blasted one of my Pokemon into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, Jared just had it out for us, these trainers.
Giving us a challenge for sure.
That he did. In which one of the things that I like about the earlier games, I want to say Gen 5 is when they stopped it. But when you traded a Pokemon, the Pokemon that you trade to them, whatever level it is, will be whatever level the
really?
Pokemon that you receive. So I knew that in this little area, it was going to be a bunch of Drowsy. It was going to be, like you said, the Nidoran line. So that wasn't going to be good to match up against Machop. So I went ahead and I trained up the Drowsy instead.
Oh, nice.
Got it up to level 20. And then
That's some
traded
good thinking. I didn't know that was how that worked. That's awesome. And do the Pokemon that you receive in the trade do get bonus XP, right?
Yeah.
Or is that
traded Pokemon receive extra experience.
I remember that was the way, like, between players. I just couldn't remember if it like also was with AI trades too. That's awesome. Fun little tip. I never knew that. But yeah, some other things you can do in Goldenrod. You can go to the radio tower, get your radio card. You can play the Pokemon lottery game in there. You can visit the underground tunnel like we talked about. Get your free bike like we talked about. But after doing all that fun stuff, it was time to take on Whitney, every Gen 2 player's worst nightmare.
Wait, before you get into that,
sure,
Dad.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to find Whitney?
Not super long, because I went to the radio tower first, and then I mean, it took me a little bit. I couldn't tell you where she's at now, or like where you were supposed to go. That's a really good question.
Because that's the thing. Like, I mean, if you go to the gym, I think they tell you. I completely forgot that she was in the radio tower. I went in there, like Mike said, to get the radio card and the lottery, and I noticed her standing there. And I was like, oh, this is where you get her at.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's not chilling in the gym. You gotta go find her.
She's not the only one either.
True.
But yeah, I think I went to the radio tower first, and like you said, she was in there. And obviously, we've talked about Whitney a lot, so I knew that she was a gym leader. So I put 2 and 2 together and found the gym after that.
Nice. Okay. Her gym trainers were pretty cake for me. I was able to beat her Clefairy with only losing Fury, which I thought was a pretty big win. The Clefairy knew Thunderbolt, it paralyzed me, and then it took 3 thunderbolts to actually take Fury out, because Fury does know, my Spinarak does know Leech Life, which is a nice move. Then the Miltank comes out, and I toss out Sherry. Hit it with a poison powder, and then it was immediately healed because it was holding a Pecha Berry or something. And I was able to survive a turn and hit it with a second poison powder to get it poisoned before Miltank knocked it out. And then Miltank then proceeded to knock out the rest of my team and died to a poison tick as it KO'd my last team member except Togepi. Togepi was on the team. It's only level 1. It's only there because I need someone to cut things. So technically I still had my Togepi there to throw out, but like as my last legit team member fainted, so did the Miltank to a poison tick, and I walked out only with Togepi still conscious. So it was pretty intense.
So is it really a victory?
Yeah, I don't know. You got to count the costs there.
My man got an Ash victory.
Yeah, exactly. How did your battle go, Kumno?
All right, now I actually remember this more than I remember everything else, because this is the battle that I was waiting on. I skipped not all of her gym trainers, because it's 2 that you have to fight in order to get to her. But they were nothing. I named Machop. Hold on. What did I name Machop? I named Machop Muscle. No. It came named Muscle. That's why I don't remember because it came named Muscle. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, did the work. But I did something strategic here. So I knew Jared was going to have something in store for us in this battle. And I wanted to make sure that nothing went awry. So I live with Kaido. In which, like you said, it's not Thunderbolt, it's Thunder that it has. Luckily, it was Thunder because it could not hit none of them. So Kaido got to wreck the Clefairy. Then when Miltank came out, I switched into my starter. The whole reason why I picked him. Tell me why this Miltank could not touch me whatsoever. Immediately hit it with a Thunder Wave. It ate the Lumberry. It did some non-effective move to do anything. Like it wasn't Attract or Charm or anything like that. I can't remember what move it was, but it was something that doesn't do anything. And I was just like, what? So I hit it with another Thunder Wave. Then I hit it with 3 Screeches and hit it with a Thunder Shock and one-shot it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Whoa, like, nice.
So when she cried, I was laughing. I was feeling wonderful that she could not do anything to me.
Yes. You're like, now you know how we felt back in 1999, Whitney.
That is correct.
Yeah. Dad, how was your fight with Whitney?
Pretty good. I beat her Clefairy and Miltank with Rocky.
Nice.
And then her Clefable, I have no idea. I didn't write down what happened. Yeah. But
the Miltank,
I made it through.
Back in the day was a legitimate problem with rollout. Man, once it got rollout going, because that move continues, I think, for a maximum of 5 turns unless it misses, and each time it does more damage. And you know, it by the time it's like around attack 3 or 4, it's like one-shotting every Pokemon that you put out. It's just
I think what helped me was Onyx, right?
Yeah.
So it was barely doing any damage. So, and I was.
Yeah, you probably got a good nature on it. So yeah, but it got the high defense anyway.
That rock on rock.
Yeah, for us, like some of us, we had guides. Some of us heard from our friends. Some of us just didn't know, so we didn't get the Machop. But for those of us that did know, like the Machop has a lonely nature, so it has good attacking stats, but its defense is lowered and it can't take hits that well. So that's why I didn't lead with it into the Whitney fight. Because I knew Jared was going to put something in there for it, and I didn't want it.
Yeah, he always got
I didn't want
an eye out for that guy.
Samson going down to a rollout.
Yeah, and on top of it, my whole team is weak to rock. So just like this could be a really tough fight. But it wasn't. So we leave Goldenrod and our route north is blocked by this dumb tree, and we have to get the water pail, and then we head out, and it is a Sudowoodo. And I don't think anyone can use it in this challenge. Nope. So just knock that puppy out. I think at this point I taught Rock Smash to Heracross or something like that. So took care of the Sudowoodo, headed north, and get to Ecruteak City. Did you guys do anything on the way here? Dad, I
seen Dad had his hand up.
Well, is that technically before the national park?
It's like right. So Route 35, I think, is on the way to National Park, and then you hang a right before you go into the building. You got to cut the tree down,
and when you go up to that, that's Route 36.
Yeah. So this static encounter with the Sudowoodo is kind of like adjacent to the national park.
So you have to. I mean, obviously, you have to cut that down to be able to go up to the next city.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with this. I remember encountering this weird tree that like wiggled at me.
Oh no, we know what happens when Pokemon wiggle at Dad. He forgets to do gyms.
Right.
It threw me off. What can I say? But I remember seeing it before. I'm like, there's something special about this tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to look it up. I had no idea what I needed for this thing.
Yeah. Just gotta squirt it with a little water, like a little cat.
I could have peed on it, but they didn't let me.
That's the same thing that I said.
That's kind of not ethical, guys. Come on, we don't urinate on our Pokemon.
It's not my Pokemon.
It ain't our Pokemon.
It's a random wild Pokemon that I can pee on.
That's causing an inconvenience for everybody that's trying to get through here.
So
it's hard to argue with that. Okay, you guys make a valid point.
I eventually figured it out. I wrote down, I freaking hate the move substitute.
Oh yeah.
I was ready to throw my computer because it was irritating everything within me.
Oh.
Lemonhead evolved into Flaffy.
Nice.
I went to the national park, got my picture taken with all my pokes, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
Didn't really do a whole lot there because, at this point I'm running out of time.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, so let's go to the next place. And
nice.
That's where I'm at.
Ecruteak City. Nice. Did you do anything, Kumino, before getting up to the city?
Yeah. I went ahead and I got who I needed to make use of flamethrower. I got Growlithe.
Nice.
Named it James. Once James was a kid, he had a Growlithe named Growly. Said, why not go for it? So yeah.
Nice.
That's really all I did outside of not peeing on the tree,
Nice.
So there was a couple things I forgot. Got to the Pokéthon or Pokéthon thing, the dome place. Yeah. Met some weird dude, Magnus, who commented on my Flaffy and told me to follow him. Seemed a bit sketchy.
But I did it anyways.
I went in the dome. Whitney was there and told me I needed a better outfit. She got me a jersey that fit. She's kind of weird. Played a round of this little mini game. Very frustrating to play on the computer. Would have been easier on a Game Boy Advance. I ended up going back to Goldenrod City. this is where I got the squirt bottle at the flower shop to get the, to not pee on the Sudowoodo. So the dome, there's just a bunch of like little mini games. Like so you pick 3 Pokemon. You can there's different categories. There's like speed.
Oh, right.
I'm trying to remember. It was so quick. But like each mini game, so like the speed challenge, it's like a race where you like swipe your Pokemon, and they try to do as many laps as possible, and whoever gets the most laps gets points or whatever. And then they get tired and you have to swap out, and you just keep going until the time runs out. There's another one where you have to collect items and then return them, and then you can swap out Pokemon. Like they each get turns. And I think there was a third one, but I can't remember what it was. But it was pretty cool. Like if I would have had more time, I probably would have spent more time here because it was kind of neat. Yeah.
The only thing that I remember about it is that you can do it to get cool rewards and some awesome TMs and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I remember about it is the Pokewalker that you can use to train your Pokemon for that very event. So
there were a lot of other trainers out there walking around.
Was that like a separate device?
Yeah, if you bought the special edition HeartGold or Soul Silver game that came with it, then you have the Pokewalker, and you can transfer your Pokemon over, and
it's like a Pokemon Go Alpha version.
Yeah,
sort of, kind of. If y'all remember the Tamagotchi game where you you had the pet living on the thing, yeah, like that's what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not an incredible amount to do in Ecruteak City, but getting in there, of course, exploring in the buildings and whatnot. Come into like the little theater dance studio thing, and there's just a Team Rocket grunt harassing one of the kimono girls.
Unbelievable.
So of course we can't let that go on. We got to help her out.
Right.
And so we smacked down this grunt and his coughing, and got surf as a reward.
Yep. Sure
so
did.
That's nice.
Which I already had.
Of course.
I'm kidding. I played it right.
Yeah. I still don't understand how that happened.
I don't either.
Yeah, because for me, the grunt did not stand a chance because my Abra had evolved into Kadabra, so it had confusion. Then Hoo evolved into Noctowl, so Moon had confusion. So it just did not stand a chance.
And it should be noted that, if you're in our Discord, you'll have seen all the changes that Jared made to the ROMs, but all the trade Evos, I think they evolve at level 40 now. So
yeah. Oh, nice.
We'll be able to get access to Alakazam and Machamp, and Dad will be able to get Steelix. I'll be able to get Scissor, things like that. So that's nice. You're gonna have a pretty solid team, Kumino.
Yeah. Right now, I'm already planning for who I want to make the main team, essentially, moving forward, so that way I'll be ready for the Pokemon League.
That's right. So again, you have the Burn Tower and the Bell Tower up in the north of Ecruteak. If you attempt to go into the gym to face Morty, you'll find out that he's not there. And we have to go into the Burn Tower and find him. Yeah.
Just keep getting kicked out of buildings. I don't appreciate that. Some old dude just kicked me out. Like, come on, man. I'm just trying to complete this leg. Give me a break. I'm trying to get caught up. You're just making it worse.
Yeah. So you can't do anything in the Bell Tower. But if you head over to the Burn Tower, which is in the northwest of the town, you'll run into a guy named Eugene. and he's there trying to find Suicune, and so is Morty, who is Yusine's friend. And you can see like a hole in the floor, and down below you see the 3 legendary Pokemon, Suicune, Entei, and Raikou. And Yusine's like, look, there they are. I'm like, okay, so why don't you go find it? Like, you're trying to find it. Like, go get it.
It's right there.
Yeah. So you see the Pokemon down there, and before you can go down the ladder, of course, our rival's there. Kumad's just like, oh, what do you think? You're gonna get this legendary Pokemon before me? You're lame. Let's battle. And we took him out one try.
Yes.
It doesn't matter anymore. We did it.
He's
like I said,
worthless rival.
Right. Like the Team Rocket Grunt, he got the same fate. Moon took out his Ghastly. Felicia, who is now a Sandslash, took him out with a dig.
Nice.
And the Zubat, it did not stand a chance against Marvin. So yeah.
So upon going down into the basement here, the 3 legendary Pokemon kind of get spooked by your presence, and they each flee. But before Suicune does, he comes and stands in front of you, and kind of like stays there for a few seconds and then runs away. And
he gives you a boop.
Yeah.
Yeah. He comes.
What?
Boop.
Oh yeah.
He boops you with his nose.
He stared into my eyes like we had a moment.
Into your soul. And after they run off, Yusine comes down. He's like, whoa, Suicune, he just stared at you. They only do that if the trainer is truly worthy, or something like that.
I've got a chance.
They recognize their talents.
Yes.
So that's cool.
No wonder why you never caught it, because I just whooped you. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when we leave here, you can go talk to the old man who kicked you out of the gym. He's now standing outside of the tower, and he gives you a little background information here, which we went over during the region lore tier list. But we'll go over it a little bit here. So the tower, it burned down in a fire, and 3 nameless Pokemon perished in it. Those being, of course, Suicune, Entei, and Raikou, which some, theorize that maybe they were a Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon, and they came back as these 3 legendary Pokemon. A rainbow-hued Pokemon descended from the sky, this being Ho-Oh, of course, and somehow brought them back to life, which, side note, we'll dive into another little fan theory. Well, we won't dive into it, but I'll just throw it out there. Some people think, to explain Ash Ketchum's like perpetual 12 years of age throughout the anime, is because he actually like died and Ho-Oh brought him back to life, because in the opening credits of the show, Ho-Oh flies over Ash. I think it's in the credits, or maybe it's in like a very early scene in season 1 or something like that. So just toss that out there. Leave a comment if you agree or have any rebuttals on that. But it's an interesting take. But back to the burn tower, people became afraid of the power of the Ho-Oh and tried to control it by force. And Ho-Oh made no attempt to fight back. Instead, its great sorrow compelled them all to leave.
Wow.
So there's a little backstory on the burn tower and one of the legendary Pokemon in the game. And yeah, did you guys do anything for going and taking on Morty?
It was like 7:30 at this point.
Which is like 2 hours before we record.
Yeah.
Okay, so before challenging the gym, I went east to Route 42 and bumped into a hiker that was bumbling out of the cave there, and he gave me strength, not like, figurative strength, like he gave me the HM strength. And then I went west to Route 38 to try to catch a Miltank, because I can use a Miltank. And wouldn't you know, the very first encounter that I have in this route after leaving the burned tower was Ryoku.
Oh,
The very first encounter. Okay, so Jeff, how these legendary Pokemon work.
Oh, it's a legendary.
Yeah, so those 3 Pokemon that we run into in the Burn Tower, they're 3 legendary Pokemon.
Right.
And they're constantly roaming around the map.
Oh.
And when you encounter them, you can try to catch them, obviously. They're level 40.
Okay.
But if they beat you or they run away or whatever, they'll change the location that they are on the game. And like I think it's every time you leave a route, their location changes. So catching these things was very tricky, and they're kind of like super random to run into.
That right there is what so many of us did, trying to catch them.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, you couldn't technically catch like that up to that level until after this gym, right?
Well, you could. It'd be difficult, and if you
Okay.
did, it probably wouldn't listen to you.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because see, in the newer games, they made it to where you can't catch it, like the ball will just bounce off of them. But in the older games,
you can
as long as you can,
good.
as long as you could throw the Pokeball and it'll stay in it, you can catch it.
Yeah, but they had a thing which doesn't really apply anymore, or especially to us emulating, unless you're running some crazy experience cheat. But each gym had a level cap to where, like, if you're because when you trade with your friends, which was, a very popular thing back in the day, the Pokemon you receive get extra experience points, so it'd grow levels faster. And to kind of prevent people from just like power leveling or trading and getting like these super high leveled Pokemon, like they might do the attack that you tell them to do, or they'll just be like, oh, Charizard's loafing around, or
Like
Charizard fell asleep.
Yeah, which made you feel like Ash in the anime with his Charizard.
Yeah. So that's the whole, like, Pokemon up to level 40 will now obey you. That's what that means.
Okay. So, and another thing you just said was the whole trading thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we able to trade in this game?
I don't think via emulating, but
right. Like, I know some emulators have like a mini server that allows you to connect with other people and to be able to do that. But I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are probably playing on different kind of emulators, so we wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay, but that in the game, I thought I saw something about trading and putting some.
Yeah, it'll still be like in the ROM file, but we won't actually be able to do it.
That's fine.
Yeah, so super random that was the very first Pokemon I ran into after leaving the Burn Tower.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
too bad it ain't on the list though.
Yeah, even if I did catch it, I wouldn't be able to use it. But I definitely didn't catch it.
It's a big sad.
Yeah, I did end up catching a Miltank though, and I asked Nick to help me find a war show or movie or character like reference to name this. So shout out to one of our hosts on Showboys, Pixel Nick. He recommended that I name Miltank Bulge, which is very fitting, but it's after, of course, the Battle of the Bulge, a very famous battle in World War II. Highlighted by the show Band of Brothers, if you've ever seen that. They spend a lot of time on the Battle of the Bulge. But yeah, so Miltank, named Bulge, is now on the squad.
Nice.
And it has an awesome ability, Scrappy, which allows normal type moves to hit ghost type Pokemon.
Oh,
which is really cool.
Very convenient.
It's very convenient, considering Morty is a ghost type gym leader. So with that being said, Dad, why don't you let us know how your time with Morty went?
It was actually fine. There are a bunch of old ladies roaming around. Very annoying old ladies. And I kept falling.
Yeah.
because every time you beat one of them, it goes dark.
Their lights
in the
go
area.
out.
Yeah. So
yeah, and the pathways, and very narrow
Very narrow,
pathway,
yeah.
and it's some of the spots are hidden. So
so at this point, my Magnemite, my big back is out. He's just been knocked out, and I don't have any revives or anything. But I have Lemonhead, who is carrying because he's got electric type moves. So I've got Rocky and Willy Wonka. And so you want me to go through Morty too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So he's got a bunch of Ghastlies and Haunters and a Gengar.
He does.
So, which is weird the way he played it. I figured the Gengar would have been
the ace,
the last one, but there was another Haunter after him. So Lemonhead took out the first Ghastly and the first Haunter, but then he got cursed. And then I put Willy Wonka in for the Gengar, beat him. And then the last Haunter came out. It took out my Lemonhead. My names are ridiculous. I'm sorry. And then Rocky cleaned up the rest with a Rock Tomb.
Does Rocky know any ground type attacks yet?
It should at least know.
Yeah. I just can't. I'm blanking on the one I have. I can look it up real quick.
Nice.
And come back to me.
Kumino, how was your time with Morty?
Okay, so with they poison shenanigans, them old lady, they got on my nerves, man. Because like confusion is good, but like Noctowl is not the strongest when it comes to it because it's not stab. And then Kadabra it's a glass cannon. Essentially, like, it's gonna hit you hard and fast, but if it doesn't take you out, it's probably gonna go down, and that's essentially what happened a lot. But when I got to Morty, Kadabra learned Psywave.
Oh, okay.
And that was game changing, and because it learned Psywave right before the Gengar. Took 3 Psywaves to get the Gengar out of there. And then I had Marvin take out the last Haunter.
Nice.
Yeah. So got beat up in that gym a little bit.
Dang, that's surprising to hear.
Well, yeah, the 2 times experience is only just to speed up just a little bit, so you don't have to grind forever in a day. You just got to grind for a little bit.
Right. Yeah, so the Ecruteak gym was pretty simple for me. I just took my bulge in there. I just took bulge in there and just stomped everything.
They
all just gave up. They just gave up.
They jumped off the ledge.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I just went in there with Miltank and just stomped everything to death, which is ironic because, of course, they're all ghost type Pokemon, and I'm using a normal type move. But thanks to Scrappy ability, I was able to do a ridiculous amount of damage. And Miltank also, I taught it Surf, because why not? And it also knows Milk Drink, which is nice, a little self-healing move. So by the end, it knew Rollout, Surf, Stomp, and Milk Drink. But yeah, I just went in and stomped literally everything to death, even Morty. But I ended the round. Well, did you guys do anything after the gym? Because if not, this is the end here of the leg. So we just finished up our 4th badge. Our teams are starting to come together. My my team finishing up here with leg 2 was Bulge, the Mill Tank at level 19, Pacific, the Magby at level 20, Anna, the Nidoran female at level 21. I haven't let her evolve yet because generally speaking, you learn moves quicker if you keep your Pokemon unevolved. And
that's nice to know.
Usually the Moonstone evolution or any stone evolution Pokemon kind of stop learning good moves once you evolve them fully. And I don't even have a Moonstone yet. So can you buy a Moonstone at Goldenrod? Or am I just going to have to find one?
I can't remember.
Yeah, because I haven't found one yet. But until I find a Moonstone, I'm just going to keep Anna as it's first stage Nidoran female. Hopefully it'll learn some moves quicker. But anyways, yeah. So Anna's level 21. I have Clevin, my Heracross at level 20. Sherry, my Butterfree at level 20. And Fury, my Spinarak at level 20. I should also mention Spinarak knows both Nightshade and Shadow Sneak, which are two pretty good ghost type moves, which I had no idea it had the ability to learn. But that also helped in the gym, of course, because ghost on ghost crime is super effective. So between Fury and Bulge, we made it work. Dad, what was your team after leg 2 here?
As they do.
Yes, of course.
All right, so leg 2, which I can say I actually
you
did
actually completed.
So my Onyx had Rock Smash, but would you ask me to have any ground moves?
Yeah, ground is super effective against poison, so keep that.
So he had Raid, Storm, Rock Smash, and Rock Tomb. So I'm gonna have to learn some different moves.
Yeah.
But Rocky, is level 29.
Oh,
he
wow.
leveled up quite a bit because he was carrying the team for a while. Well, the two of them.
He's got that bonus XP because he was a traded Pokemon. So he earns experience a little quicker for you too.
Yes, awesome. And then I had my Lemonhead, my Flaffy, level 28. My Big Back, Magnemite, level 21. And my Willy Wonka, Togetic at level 26.
Nice. Team's coming along. Kumino, what did you finish up with?
All right, so Kaido at level 26, the Gyarados. I got James the Growler at level 23. Muscle the Machop at level 24. Marvin the Magnemite at level 24. Sabrina the Abra at level 26.
Nice.
And Moon the Noctowl at level 25.
Patricia's gone, huh?
Huh?
Patricia's gone, huh?
Yeah, I had to sit Patricia down. She wouldn't did no good in this fight.
Rest in peace.
No,
she's not dead. She just chilling.
She's chilling in the
dead to me.
She's in the PC.
Yeah, she will return. Just she's on vacation right now.
Well, guys, we made it. We're halfway through. We have 2 more legs to go, and then of course the finale, the Elite Four and Champion. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season here. Listeners, please let us know in the comments what your teams are looking like, and how leg 2 went for you. So now, looking at my list, what I thought I was going to be able to catch in leg 2 is going to be moved to leg 3. So I'm really looking forward to getting a few more levels and adding some more pokes to the team. But yeah, do you guys, I know Kumino, you have like 90 Pokemon you're able to use, but Dad,
I wish.
How are your team prospects looking? Like, have you looked ahead to see where you can catch Pokemon? Or
I looked to see where I could get Beldum,
Yeah, you won't be able to get Beldum in this.
Oh.
He he's not until what, Gen 5?
No, it's Generation 3.
Oh, so he's in Gen 3. Dang.
Yeah. You just have to look up and see if like it'll be a case of you got to play a certain radio station on a certain route, and maybe it'll be a possibility that you can get it. I don't know.
All right, I'll have to look into that.
Excuse me.
A little bit. Not too much, but I definitely not this leg. Maybe the next one or the one after.
You already almost have like all of Jasmine's Pokemon. You have Magnemite, you have Onix, you have Flaffy, you have Togetic. All you're missing is Skarmory.
Yeah. Well, and when I my first run before it didn't save, my starter was Skarmory.
Oh man, that would have been nice. Lemon Pepper. Jared's having flashbacks right now. Kumino, what are you? What's leg 3 looking like in terms of Pokemon prospects? Have you done any looking ahead?
No, I haven't done any looking ahead, but the way that I see it, I can't really say that I'll be catching anything else. I might. Well, of course, I'm gonna get this Eevee that we get in Ecruteak. But again, I can't remember if the department store sells stones or not.
Right.
So we're gonna see about that part. Because I am gonna go Vaporeon if I can. I might get Shelter, but I can't see myself actually using it. Tauros, everything else. Well, Cubone. I don't know if Cubone in this game or not. But everything else essentially I can't catch because it's after this region. It's all in Kanto. Except for Execute. Execute is back on Route 36. All I gotta do is hit a tree. I might grab the Execute, but yeah, everything else is in Kanto because it's all 3 starters.
Yep.
Well, Vulpix is only in Soul Silver. Larvitar,
that's the end game.
Yeah. And everything else in Kanto.
Nice. I thought I saw Vulpix.
Yeah, it's Soul Silver. So the same place, Route 36. Instead of Growlithe, it'll be Vulpix.
You get Vulpix. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe here. Click the big old red subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let us know how you're doing here in season 6. Go check out Kumino over on Twitch. His link to his Twitch channel is in the episode description. Go subscribe to Showboys. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Showboys podcast. The Ace Trainer tier for $3. You can help support PokéBoys. Yeah, we'll see you next week for leg 3. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.